Hey folks, I'll pop the cover off of this. Didn't take a lot of persuasion, but don't know that I've had one of these copycat engines a part. I may have, but it's been a while. And I noticed they've actually got some improvements on these, but they still got slop in the clutch pack. So they got little bearings down there, little guys on the original Japanese bearings. It's just a ball bearing. And I don't know if that's better or worse or whatever, but they actually work as a cam action on this into the clutch hub here. So talk about this real quick. The reason these engines do so well is because they centrifuge their oil. They don't need an oil filter. This is just a sump filter. It keeps the big chunks from going up into the oil pump, which is right there. That little guy's the oil pump. Picks it up there, runs it through the engine, then comes back out the center of this crank right there. You can see a hole in that cover, and then goes back through that port. So underneath this cap, even on the old ones, you'll find that these are a flathead. They call it a flathead Phillips. I think it's like an 8mm, I'm sorry, it's like a 5mm screw. And the old ones, there's 3. This one, there's 4 screws, so there's 3. You've got to pop out of there. Generally got to drill the heads out because that dirt is so packed on the inside of this, pushing outward, that you can't get them loose. It wedges the back sides of those heads in place. So anyway, just a little quick little rant on the oil system on these things. And it spins, so it spins the oil in there in that clutch while it's running, and then spits it out that hole. And is a really good way to separate all the fine dirt and particles. You know, it's I wish more engines were set up this way, because it's actually a very well thought out design. So what I was moving is, this is called a bull gear. This transfers the power, okay, back to the counter shaft. But behind that, this guy right here is a tumbler, and that's what shifts your gears. And there's a on the back side of that tumbler, you can't see it, it's underneath that bull gear, there is a small arm that's just pivoting with a disc on it that rolls. It rolls on that shift drum. It's called a detent, and that detent gets loose and it rubs on the back side of this bull gear, and it actually this bull gear actually catches that sometimes and rips it right out of there, and that's what causes your shifting issues. So we'll go through, I'll take this apart even further, and we'll go through what you can do to fix that, because it's a super easy fix. And you know, these engines are put together pretty well anyway, so you go through one and then do a few modifications. Geez, your grandkids can, or kids, or maybe yourself, run it forever, you know, as long as you change the oil once in a blue moon. And like I said, part of the maintenance is taking this cover off anyway. And those are those dowel pins I was talking about. See how crusty that is? Let's see if we can focus on it. That's not gonna, yeah, but it's rusty. That was a sticking point, and that was a sticking point. So you clean those up, shine them up really nice, and put some copper anti-seize back on there, nickel anti-seize. Those are the 2 I recommend, not the aluminum. Aluminum supposedly has silica in it, little glass beads. So I don't recommend that for any motorcycle, ATV, small engine application. I always recommend the copper or nickel. That's it, another video that's getting upwards of 5 minutes. I don't like to do them too long. People kind of lose their interest in them if you have 20-minute videos and you ramble about stuff. But you can see everything else looks pretty good on the inside of here. The usual kind of scum buildup on the case, and you know, this is these gaskets never hold up. You always got to scrape them off and put new ones on, which is a good thing. Clean it up with a razor blade. Don't use a disc. Don't use a whizzer disc on an air tool. You remove material. Use a razor blade, excuse me, and clean her off nice, and you'll have very good success. You use a what they call a preparation disc on a 90-degree head air tool, you will take material off and you'll have problems. You don't want that. So we'll talk more about this clutch and what's behind that bowl gear in the next video. Stay tuned.